Hi, I am going to answer one last question for you guys, and so let's get started, okay? The question is, can you briefly talk about your background with addiction and how you found freedom? My background with addiction, I will say, watching it growing up, I wanted nothing to do with it. I was completely disgusted with the whole lifestyle, and as a teenager, I did experiment with drugs and alcohol, and I never stopped. It totally turned into something monstrous that I was not anticipating. And eventually, I was prescribed some prescription medication after I had a surgery. I had a major surgery that was supposed to be routine, and I was told it would take 6 weeks to be done with it all. And I think everything that could have gone wrong with that surgery totally went wrong. And early on in the process, I was prescribed Valium and Xanax, and I loved them so much. Now, I did need them in the beginning, and the medical reason for giving them to me was legit. My Valium was for sleep. Wasn't technically given for sleeping, it was given for relaxing my muscles so I was able to sleep, because I had to sleep in an upright position. I wasn't able to lay flat. My incisions were in certain places to where they would rip if I laid down. And so I was in so much pain, and that really, really did help me sleep in the beginning, and it was a lifesaver, I thought. The Xanax was given for the anxiety. I was afraid. It was a life-threatening thing that I was going through, a very, very serious infection in my skin that I had gotten because of the surgery. And I had lost around 30 pounds, and I was very sick. I wasn't able to live my life, but I wasn't living it anyway, so I didn't lose a lot of life. I lost a lot of mobility is what I lost. Anyway, after everything was said and done, it was about 2 years fully. I had about a year's worth of surgeries and procedures and hospitalizations and just a lot of things, and I had constant flow of both of those medications the entire time with, painkillers throughout. The painkillers I didn't get regularly, but I didn't care. For me, I really wanted my Xanax, and I really needed my Valium. And when the whole thing was said and done, and I was kicked out on my ass and told, good luck, we're so happy that you made it through, I was literally left not caring at all that I was healed physically, because physiologically I was completely dependent on that medication, and it was done. That was it for me, So let's talk about, I don't feel like I need to go into that further. Just to be real with you, if you're watching this, you understand when I say I was done and that was it for me, that means that I would have done anything and everything to get my medication, which meant, I stole from people, I did things I'm not proud of, and I did what I had to do for a very long time until things came to a head and I found freedom. And let's talk about that. How I found freedom was, looking back, I can't say that I had a bottom. I'm pretty sure that a lot of my family members who love me didn't believe that I had a bottom, because, like many of you, or if you're a family member watching, sometimes you look at someone and you say, like, how many times do you need to go to jail? How many cars do you need to wreck? How many bounty hunters do you need knocking at your door at 3 o'clock in the morning trying to drag your ass back to jail because you missed court again? Or how many, let's see, I could go on and on and on. How many times do you need to overdose? How many stitches do you need? Or whatever it is. I had a lot of those things happen, and I don't feel like I ever just smashed into that one place and I was like, okay, I'm done. What happened is it was a few things like squished into a week where everything just came to a head. I had manipulated everybody that I knew, and I was totally out of like money for sure, resources, a place to live. And it really just became like I had hurt somebody physically that I love so much, who I'm married to now, but I wasn't married to him then, and he's insane for speaking to me now. But anyway, just joking. I hurt him, and I really kind of just sat there and took a long look at my life, and I knew, okay, you know, I had a child. It was time. It was time. Something had to give. It was either I'm going to die, I'm going to totally end up in jail for a very, very, very long time, or I have to change. I was also given an ultimatum by people who love me. They said, you know, you either change or you're living in your car. And you know, I looked at my son's face and I just thought to myself, you know, I've got to do something. And it sort of all just fell together so beautifully. And I do attribute that to God, because a lot of people had tried over the years and a lot of people had failed, and it had nothing to do with them. It had everything to do with me and how I was feeling on the inside. And I found freedom because I finally chose to take the risk. And for me, it was a risk because I didn't believe in myself and I didn't believe that I could do it. And I was very afraid, completely terrified to fall on my face and fail. I didn't know what that would mean. And so it was a big risk. But I'm so grateful that I took it. And I'm so, so happy. I'm going to cry, but I'm not going to cry because because then I can't talk and I look all crazy. So I am happy I took the risk, and I struggled so hard that first year, so hard, but I made it through, and every year sort of built upon itself, and I'm just really, really, really grateful to be sitting here talking to you, and I really hope that something that I've said in any of these answers to your questions can help you a little bit. So, bye.